Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Just me and you. We can sit here and make conversation. I saw everybody else going to vote. But, and thanks for your willingness to serve, and what you're doing is going to help a lot of folks. In Alabama, we have 400,000 veterans in our state and got a lot of VAs, and we have problems as everybody else. But, we need to take care of our veterans. I came from a military family. I understand it. You've worked in a major implementation effort with Healthcare.gov. Currently, the VA is undergoing a massive multi-pronged modernization effort addressing financial management, healthcare records, and supply chain management. What challenges did you encounter while rolling out Healthcare.gov, and how would you apply your lessons learned to ensure a successful rollout of FMBT, EHRM, and supply chain modernization?
Well, thank you for the question. I think there's a number of learnings from the rollout of Healthcare.gov that are appropriate here or applicable here. The first thing is the way they approach that problem is essentially define an architecture and then sub it out to different contractors and have them work largely autonomous with each other and then bring it back together in the end. And so it probably isn't very surprising that when it came back together, it actually didn't function. And a lot of there was a bit of finger pointing about is this in my part of the system or is this in your part of the system? It really gets down to you need to have a team that works across these contractors in a complex way as a single team, and that nobody's pointing fingers at each other as to where the problem resides. The second thing is we brought people in from the security portion of the organization, from the end user help part of the organization, and created a virtual team across all the stakeholders to make sure that we had the representation of all the problems that we're seeing. And the third thing I would say, which was really critical, is really to get clear on priorities. And you can't, when you get into an organization that isn't functioning as well as it is, everything is priority one. Yet you can't do everything as first priority at the same time. So you've got to strictly say, these are the things we're going to get accomplished in this order. And then you have to have transparency with stakeholders and with external organizations to say, look, this is the stuff we're not going to get done for now. And we know why. We'll explain to you why that's not getting done. And this is the stuff you can count on us delivering to you right now. And so a lot of that is what we kind of take for granted in the commercial space is how you function. But it's something that we can bring, I think, to the health records management project and to all the projects in the VA.
I can't imagine all the different entities that you work with. Being a football coach, just trying to put people together and working together is hard enough. I can't imagine all over this country doing the new implementation. People are your most important asset in this business. Most of the Office of Information Technology's resources go toward basic operations, like keeping the networks running, but you also need software development, and you need talent. You need a core group of people who probably could make a lot more money in the private sector. We all know that. I mean, the big tech is really hurting a lot of people, when it comes to making money. I've got a son graduating this Saturday. He's already got a job in big tech, and because it was easy. There's not many out there. What types of software development skills are most important in what you're getting ready to do, and how are you going to recruit and retain these people, that you're going to need to implement this?
It's a great question and something that I've given a lot of thought to. As you say, the differences in salaries between the public sector and the private sector are very large today.
Coaching and being a senator is a lot different. Y'all seen the salary, so same thing.
I think there's a couple of things I think are important. I think you have to figure out what are the linchpin roles, the critical roles, whether that's the quarterback on the field or the tight end, and figure out how are you going to create a process for how we work that leverages those key capabilities and has those people in the right place. So for instance, at Microsoft, we have a really critical role called a program manager, or many in the industry call it a product manager. Those are people who understand the needs very deeply of projects, but also can dive deep into what the details are of the program. And so if you're thinking about, you're probably still going to have to outsource a lot of the software development to contractors, but it needs to be a deep interconnectedness that program manager plays a really important role. And so if the organization can transform itself to be very focused on what the status is and the progress is on those key projects, and if we can get really world-class program managers, for example, in those key roles that are interacting deeply with contractors, I think we can change the tenor of the organization to be really energized in the role of delivering to veterans, which is an energizing, occupation and thing to be engaged in to begin with. I think we can also have pathways where it's clear you can start your career in the VA and move into the private sector and be very successful, and also move from the private sector into the VA to deliver on the needs of those veterans as well.
In Microsoft, did y'all use a lot of subcontractors? I mean, did you go out and use them, and do you foresee maybe doing that in this endeavor?
We did. We used to say that we would use a subcontractor in a place where it wasn't the critical system we were developing, but we're in a very different position in our ability to actually hire software developers. I think we're going to have to continue to outsource more or have more subcontractors in the VA, but it's not it can't be as much of an arm's length transaction. It has to be a place where we deeply understand what's going on in those projects, and we're kind of part of that team as opposed to thinking of it more arm's length. So I think there's a model here that doesn't require, and you hear a lot of people talking about, we just need to have tons and tons of software developers in the VA. We would benefit from more software developers in the VA. But if we can get this rich model working that has good interaction, I think we can accomplish our goals.
Well, thank you, and good luck to you. It's going to be a hard endeavor, but we look forward to helping you. So thanks for your service. Chairman Tester, this will go on my resume as a chairman at one time of the Veterans Affairs Committee for about 10 minutes. So
Never been done better. I'll just tell you that.
Thank you very much.
Senator